Hello students, welcome to my social study class once again. Today I'm going to discuss the chapter number 16, that is India's contribution to the United Nations. India's contribution to the United Nations. In our earlier chapter, we read about the how to United Nations, but birth is not it, the birth of the United Nations. Today, we are going to know the India's contribution to the United Nations. So, in this chapter, we are going to know that how India contribute the United Nations differently. Okay, so let's start the chapter. India is a peace-loving and the largest democratic country in the world. Yes, India, from the beginning, India always loved peace. And it means our country, it is one of the largest democratic country in the world. Okay, so as we know that according to the size, India is the seventh largest country, and according to the population, India is according to the size, India is the seventh largest country, and according to population, India is the second largest, and also it is one of the largest democratic country in the world. Okay, so it is one of the founder member of the United Nations and has always worked with all sincerity to establish world peace. It is, in my last class, I also said about that India was the one of the founder member of the United Nations, and India works with all its sincerity to establish world peace. Understood? Now, our country participates actively in all the activities of the UNO and its agencies. In all the sectors of the UNO, our country participates actively to maintain or establish worldwide peace. Understood what I said? Okay. That is why once Mrs. Vijaya Lakshmi Pandit was once elected the President of General Assembly of the United Nations. She was elected once the President of the General Assembly of the United Nations. Maybe short question will come in your exam, so remember that. Okay. Now, some of the India's contribution of the UNO are as follows. Now we are going to know the some of the contribution of UNO are as follows. Let's see. Some of the India's contribution of the UNO are as follows. See, number one, Indian soldiers have been a part of the peacekeeping force sent by the United Nations to different stripped-down countries to establish peace. India's soldiers are also be the part of the United Nations. They've been sent in the many countries, stripped-down countries. It means where war is going on, or internal war or civil war going on, like country like Syria, Lebanon. So like this, the Indian soldier also sent by the UNO to establish or maintain peace. It is in this way the Indian military, they contribute the United Nations, or Indian force contribute the United Nations. Secondly, see, we have always opposed the colonialism. Now, what is colonialism? We have always opposed the colonialism, means India always opposed the colonialism, because once India also be the once India also part under the colonialism of British. Understood what I said? So India also, India always opposed the colonialism. Colonialism means what? Political control over another country and economic exploitation. So India opposed this, and also opposed racial discrimination and denial of rights of those people who have no homeland of their own, and also opposed the racial discrimination. Understood? Discriminations, you know what? Distinguish or difference, racial difference or distinguish, and denial of rights of those people who have no homeland of their own, and those who have no homeland, and their rights of those people who have no homeland of their own. So India also opposed this. Okay. Next is what? India opposed the policy of discrimination practiced by the white against the black in South Africa. This policy was known as apartheid. You all know, most of you know about apartheid. There was a discrimination between the black people and the white people. According to this apartheid, white people enjoys more political social status compared to the black people. So when apartheid was abolished in South Africa, India re-established relations with South Africa once again, and so India opposed this discrimination, and when this discrimination finished abolished, then India what happened again? Built a good relation with whom? South Africa. These all are the contributions. Understood what I said? Now, a large number of Indians are working in the United Nations and its agencies. A large number of Indian people in the different sectors of the United Nations, they are working under the United Nations, and it is in this way they contribute towards the United Nations. Understood what I say? And they work in the different field. Okay. Now, two of our eminent justices have served as judges of the International Court of Justice. Two of our very eminent, very prominent, and very well judge, chief judge, they served as a judge of the International Court of Justice. International Court means what? Every country have their own court judge system, is not it? So jurisdiction, for example, in India also Supreme Court, High Court is there or not. So likewise, International Court also be there. For example, if conflict broke out between two countries, then who will look after, who will solve this problem? So it will be practiced in the International Court, and they will give the verdict. Understood what I said? So for that, International Court also require, and here two of our prominent justice there as a judge of the International Court of Justice. Understood what I say? Now, experts from other countries working with United Nations agencies have also come to our country. Experts, it doesn't mean only Indian soldiers, Indian doctors, Indian judges, Indian people, they're working under the United Nations, not like that. All the members of the United Nations, they are people, they are engineers, they are doctors, they are soldiers also, they part of the United Nations. Understood? So likewise, some other member of the other countries also, they also come up to our country, for providing. For what reason they come? For providing the better health care, helping poor children, and to provide help in the development of our country also. So they also come up to our country for what? Better health care, helping poor children, and to provide helping in the development of our country in the different sectors like education sectors, health sectors, some other sectors also. So it is in this way United Nations also contributed to our country for our development, for development of our country. These are the contributions of India's contribution to whom? To the United Nations. Now, see the non-aligned movement. What is non-aligned movement? See, after the end of the Second World War, in the year 1945, most of the nations of the world were divided into two factions, or you can say that into two superpowers. After the end of the Second World War, most of the country they divided into two superpowers. The namely USA and the USSR. One faction was led by the USA and another faction was led by the USSR. So one faction is led by whom? USA, United States of America. Another faction is what? USSR, United Soviet Union. Okay. United Soviet Socialist Republic. Understood? So these two groups mainly, all the countries are divided into these two main fractions. Now, these fractions were formed mostly on the basis of military pact, and these two fractions divided mostly in the military pact. Understood? For example, if further war is broke out like World War III types, understood, then what will happen? One country protect with another country, or one country fought in favor of another country. So for that reason, they divided into two main superpowers. Understood what I said? On the basis of military pact. Understood? This now many nations were compelled to join either of the two superpowers to protect their own interest, and many countries they were compelled to, they were bound to join. Understood what I said? Though they have no interest to join these both superpowers, but they were bound to join. Understood what I said? But see, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, the first Prime Minister of our country, proposed the policy of non-alignment for the first time. But our country always thinks differently. Our country thought that what the first Prime Minister of our country, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, thought that our country should remain silent or should remain neutral. Our country is not going to join any other super country because our country always love peace. Understood? So for the first time, he gave the proposal of the non-alignment movement. Understood what I said? He was supported by President Abdul Jamal Nasir of Egypt. He was supported by whom? The President of Egypt named President Abdul Jamal Nasir, and President Joseph Broz Tito of Yugoslavia. The President of Yugoslavia named President Joseph Broz Tito also supported the proposal of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Understood? They decided not to align with any of the superpowers. They decide not to align or not to join with any other superpower. We remain silent or remain understood, neutral. We are not going to join any other superpower. Okay, because we love peace. If the whole world is divided into two superpowers, then there's always chance to conflict or further war, which led to be a third world war. Understood what I said? Because our country don't want any kind of a war, so that is why our country always thought it's better to remain silent. Understood what I said? Or remain what? Neutral. Now, it's also in short called NAM, non-aligned movement. Okay. This laid to foundation of the non-alignment movement, and it is in this way for the first time this led to be the foundation of the non-alignment movement. Okay, gradually several countries joined this movement, and slowly for the first time we see that three countries they joined together. Now gradually some other countries also joined this movement. Okay, they are helping each other and trying to solve the problem of poverty, ignorance, and lack of development. And these countries they helping with each other. Understood? For trying to, or for development of various fields like ignorance, like poverty, and lack of education, etc. They help each other to develop this particular field. Okay, now they are also very active in the United Nations, and they are also very active in the United Nations. And we know that the motto of the United Nations is to maintain the peace for the first time, is not it? And promote education, work on the field of poverty, is not it? So all kind of various goods work. So that is why this is the main objective of the United Nations. That is why these countries they work very actively and efficiently in the United Nations. Okay. This is one of the most important contribution of India. And this is one of the most important contribution of India towards the world peace. And it is in this way forming the NAM. Does it means a non-aligned movement? It is one of the most important contribution towards the world peace. By whom? By our country. Remember that. Okay. Now, what is non-alignment? Non-alignment has become a movement for world peace and development. Non-alignment, it's not a movement to achieve something. Yes, of course, achieve world peace and development, yes, but it's not like a movement to get freedom from something. It's not like. It's a non-alignment has a movement alignment has become a movement for world peace and development. It is a movement for world peace and development. Understood what I said? So, thus, India continues to play whatever role is giving to it in maintaining world peace and it making the United Nations a stronger and effective organization. Thus, India continuously working till today also continuously India is working whatever tasks given by the United Nations to India, and in our country continuously working on it to make this organization is a strong and effective and efficient one. For that, everywhere in this world, peace should be remain. Understood what I say? And there should be no further. There will be no further war. There is a lack of poverty everywhere. There should be lack of poverty everywhere. All people in this world should be literate. So everyone should live in this world as a standard life. So work on this field. India also contributed a lot to the United Nations and still contributing. Understood what I said? So these are the very few things in this chapter about the India's contribution to the United Nations. So it is in this way India contributed to the United Nations, and as well as United Nations also help India in different purposes, as I said you before, in the field of education, poverty, healthcare, etc. So it is the transaction of helping with each other. This is the objectives and the goal of the United Nations, and our country also working hard and working continuously to make all this organization as an effective one. So thank you so much for this chapter. This is all about this chapter, and as I said you before also, if you have any question regarding that, you have my number. You can call me and ask me with a particular time and solve your problem. Once again, thank you so much for listening this. Thanks a lot.